The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Hongbin Jeong. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump ended in a disaster last Friday before the world's media at the White House over the war with Russia. Here's a glimpse of their exchange.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
He broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From
yourself to be in a very bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You don't
was
have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What else-
III.
what are you
You're
thinking about?
gambling with
What are you
World
thinking
War
about?
III.
That was from a video posted on the Straits Times showing the clash between the two leaders after Mr. Zelensky suggested Mr. Trump did not understand the issue because the U.S. was protected by an ocean and didn't face the looming threat from Russia. The visit by Mr. Zelensky was designed to help Ukraine convince the U.S. not to side with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who ordered the invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. Instead, the Ukrainian leader disagreed sharply with Mr. Trump and Vice President Vance over the conflict. Mr. Trump then quickly took to Truth Social to accuse Mr. Zelensky of disrespecting the United States. So how does the new administration in Washington undermine Kyiv's attempts to maintain Western support for its war effort? And with the public fallout from the meeting, how might U.S.-Ukraine relations be impacted in the future? Well, joining us today is Cedomir Nestorovic, who is a professor of geopolitics at the ESSEC Business School of Asia Pacific. Professor Cedomir, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
All right, Professor. Well, Mr. Zelensky departed the White House following the public spat, and a planned signing ceremony and press conference were all canceled. What sparked the heated exchange between Trump and Zelensky last Friday, Professor? I mean, should this meeting between the two not have happened?
So there are many things that we can find out from this meeting, but I would just try to remind that they are showmen, both of them. So they know how to play with the TV. So I won't not put aside the possibility that from one side or from the other side, it was something for the audience, and they wanted to speak to their own audience. So Zelensky was speaking to the Ukrainian audience in order to say, I am not ready to sell my country. And Trump is speaking to his own audience by saying, I want peace, but the other side doesn't want peace. This is how I interpret them.
I see. Now, since they are public showmen, as you've mentioned there, Professor, how did their respective countries react to this public showdown? How did the people of Ukraine view President Zelensky, and how did the people of America view President Trump during this public spat?
So I believe that in both countries, we have polarized public opinion. I would say that the majority of people in Ukraine will support President Zelensky, but the opposition, and he has opposition in the parliament, will, without any doubt, asking for explanation and maybe also asking in order to go back to the United States and to sign the deal. And from the American point of view, it is the same thing. Many Republicans are supporting Trump. For the moment, the Democrats are a little bit stunned from the beginning, from the January, but hopefully they will wake up. And in that case, we can have a much more dynamic scene in the United States.
So what do you make of Vice President J.D. Vance's comment about Ukraine not expressing enough gratitude toward the U.S.?
So the question of gratitude is a little bit awkward because Zelensky has thanked the United States so many times, but he didn't thank Trump. So that was the question that J.D. Vance wanted to put on the table. So since President Zelensky was reluctant to say so, in that case, it initiated this kind of spat. But in London, when President Zelensky met with the European leaders, he was pedaling back and he was thanking the United States and he was thanking Trump. So probably he would like to come back to the negotiation table.
I see. Well, given the public fallout from this meeting, Professor, how might this impact future U.S.-Ukraine relations moving forward?
In fact, there is not so much choice. They must work together in order to establish peace. From the American point of view, that is, from the Trump's point of view, Putin should be involved in the peacemaking process. This is something that the Ukrainian side is not ready to accept, but probably they will need to go back to the negotiation table because we cannot stay in the same situation today without any agreement.
Okay, so how do you think Russia or even President Vladimir Putin viewed this public showdown between Trump and Zelensky?
Well, for him, this is dreams come true because he couldn't even imagine this kind of development. So probably he is extremely happy. However, on the other side, given the volatile and given the versatile nature of Trump's statements, he is also cautious because he doesn't know exactly how this is going to end. But for the moment, I presume that he is quite happy.
I see. Well, what does the incident then tell us about the challenges in dealing with Mr. Trump's America First approach to foreign policy?
So the America First approach is on all domains. It can be here in Mexico, it can be for Canada, it can be for Europe, it can be for China. It is America First. Now, concerning the situation in Ukraine, it is also a starking difference from the situation, for instance, in Israel. Because he is completely supporting Netanyahu, and Zelensky would like to have at least part of the same support for himself, but he didn't get it.
So do you think this public confrontation undermines the credibility of the U.S. as a stable and reliable partner for countries like Ukraine and others in Europe?
So obviously, other countries are looking at what is happening, especially in Asia, especially Taiwan. So they are maybe coming to the conclusion if the United States is not supporting its European allies, what will happen with us? What will happen in some other Asian countries? So I think that many people are quite nervous. However, again, Donald Trump is a showman. So maybe this is not as serious as it appears.
I see. Well, now, Professor, Mr. Zelensky was in the White House to sign a critical minerals deal, which Mr. Trump had cast as a necessary step to repay American support as he sought to broker a deal with Russian President Vladimir Putin. But that was not signed before Mr. Zelensky's departure last Friday. However, Mr. Zelensky has now openly said that he's ready to sign despite the public showdown between him and Trump. So why the sudden reversal here?
So I think that he also felt the heat from his allies in Europe because the allies in Europe are ready to support him as long as it needs this kind of support. But I don't think that they are ready to cut the bridge with the United States. So probably they are telling him, please go back to the negotiation table. The point that was problematic here was the security guarantees. So if Europe is ready to guarantee the security of Ukraine, in that case, it would be quite easy to sign the deal with the United States.
So do you think Trump will give him another chance for Mr. Zelensky to sign the deal, or is the deal now out the window?
No, I think that he will give him another chance, but in the second time, I presume that Donald Trump would like him to sign first and to come to the White House after, because he doesn't want to repeat the same scene as we used to have a few days ago.
I see. Well, amidst all of this, observers are saying that the public spat between Zelensky and Trump could boost China's diplomatic position. So from a Chinese foreign policy perspective here, Professor, what do you think Beijing's reaction to this incident reveals about its growing influence in shaping global governance?
Well, from the very beginning, China was proposing peace. They also had a peace plan. So it was 2 years back. So China is genuinely looking for peace. And now maybe China is just a little bit more nervous because if relations are thawing between the United States and Russia, in that case, automatically China would be sidelined. And they don't want to be sidelined. So I presume that China would also like to be involved. I presume also that at any time there would be a Security Council of the United Nations deciding about that. And China is a permanent member, so we cannot forget China, and they would like to participate.
So with China advocating for multilateralism, how does this incident help China highlight its diplomatic style compared to the U.S., Professor?
So from the very beginning of the People's Republic of China, they were for multilateralism. They were also acting for the non-interference in internal affairs of the other countries. So all this is nice and good for the other countries. But when it comes to Taiwan, I'm not so sure that they will apply the same rules.
I see. Well, meanwhile, Europe is seeking to take control of Ukraine negotiations here, Professor. European leaders, they closed ranks yesterday in support of Kyiv at a London summit, where they pledged to spend more on security and assemble a coalition to defend any truce in Ukraine. And UK Prime Minister has also announced a 4-point plan to work with Ukraine to end the war and defend the country from Russia. So how do you view the differences between European and US approaches to the Ukraine conflict? And if Europe takes charge, could they end the war faster than the U.S.?
So the European countries were, from the very beginning, the genuine supports of Ukraine, and they don't abandon this kind of course. Now, the question is, can they replace the United States? For me, the answer is no. They cannot replace the United States because at any time, they would need a NATO engagement. They would need the satellite reconnaissance. They would need for instance, the Patriot anti-missiles. So they would need the American involvement. It's impossible for the European Union to do it by itself. However, they can push for an agreement. And if in this agreement there is a mention concerning peacekeeping forces, in that case, they can send some people there, but not in peacemaking or not engaging in combat.
I see. Well, is the European commitment to providing security guarantees and even deploying troops then feasible given the differing political climates within European countries?
So obviously not all European countries will send the troops to Ukraine if they decide to send the troops to Ukraine. I think at the end of the day, there would be maybe 10 to 15 countries doing so. But even in that case, there could be some misunderstanding between them because we have only 2 nuclear powers. We have the UK and France, and the others, they don't have a nuclear deterrence. So it is a little bit imbalanced. So probably the 2 countries which would be engaged very much will be UK and France.
And finally, before we let you go here, Professor, is there anything else you'll be watching that could, see further developments in this issue?
So I think that in the coming weeks, President Zelensky would accept to sign the plan, probably in Ukraine, before going to the United States. The United States will not give security guarantees. The security guarantees will be given by the European Union. But all this is done without the assentment from the Russian side. And for the moment, the Russian side did not show any enthusiasm in accepting the European troops on the battlefield. So we also have to wait a little bit how Russia is going to mitigate the approach from the United States with the presence of the European troops in Ukraine.
I see. Well, thank you so much, Professor, for your time and your insights today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was Cedomir Nestorovic, who is a professor of geopolitics at the ESSEC Business School of Asia Pacific. This has been The Big Story with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.